Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to Trilogy Gaming. Today, we are back with Tag Weekly, week 22. Now, we're a little bit late on this, and the reason is because I accidentally... I'm trying to line up all the series, so episode 9s, 8s, 10s would come out back to back to back, you know? It's the reason partly I waited on Digimon. Well, I also realized that was stupid because I have more episodes for some series than others. Like obviously Madden will have a bunch, but in the case of Content Warning and Lethal Company, I have more Content Warning episodes ready to edit and get out than I do Lethal Company. So by that logic, doesn't make sense. So I accidentally made live Lethal Company episode 9. It was supposed to be Content Warning episode 9, which went out the day before this is airing. And I noticed, okay, I can make this error quick. I can fix it. I see 1 view. Uh-oh. 2 views. Uh-oh. And at this point, I'm like, people are already watching it. I'll leave this out. And on Monday, the day I'm filming this, I released the thing that should have released yesterday, which was Content Warning. So I decided to push off filming this because I was going to record it that night. And yeah, things went backwards. So now that we have fixed that issue, week 22 can begin, guys, with the first Tag Weekly Reel. Now, I have to be honest, guys, I'm kind of nervous about this because the whole concept is that I spin a reel and the topic I land on, I talk about it from my gut, my soul, from my chest, and I don't look anything up. Now, certain other topics I will have more information on and edit. This one, I made sure I put topics that I could just talk from my heart. And if you guys do not know, this is a weekly topical series where you can decide the topic. Or if you have multiple topics you want to suggest and put some on the reel, let me know as well. But anytime a topic is not suggested down in the comments, we go to the trusty reel now. So, let's actually look at the Tag Weekly Reel. So, you'll see some stuff, right? Some of the things are pretty normal stuff. The weight loss journey, which I put off. Why? Because I am nervous as all heck to talk about it. Love life. Yeah, that's going to be another one that would be kind of hard to talk about. Streaming, it's what I want to do with streaming. It's the plans I have. And, we have Pokemon, Digimon. Those are just broad topics like American football and World's Game football. Madden 24, more specifically the games, FC 24, shooter video games, Minecraft, anime, manga, Korean shows and movies, Japanese live action shows, not to be confused with the anime, board games, editing videos, job hunting, upgrading the setup, cooking, baking. I decided to have a couple of topics. If you guys have a topic for next week or suggestions for the reel, let me know and I will definitely add them as long as they are YouTube appropriate. So let's spin the reel and see what our first topic is. Oh, okay. So Japanese live action shows and movies. Now, this one's a little bit tough to talk about. Not because I don't watch many. It's more of, recently I watched Godzilla -1. And one of my friends suggested, watching the black and white, the minus color. It's Godzilla -1 minus color is what it's called. And I haven't seen it yet. When it comes out, I plan to see it. But she suggested to me, and I get it. I watched Godzilla, and I watched it in black and white, and I get that feeling because it gives that old nostalgia. But I also, with how good the movie is, which, by the way, Godzilla -1, if you haven't seen it, I know it's on Netflix now. But you guys could also rent it if you don't have Netflix. It's so worth it. I love Godzilla -1. It's such a good movie. But it's also a Godzilla movie that made me feel for the humans. Because sometimes you go and you're there to just see Godzilla. I haven't really felt a strong connection to humans since some of the Mothra movies. Because it's like, usually Godzilla's like, oh, cool, humans. Where's the kaijus? That's kind of your go-to. And so when it comes down to it, -1 made me really feel for the human characters and really felt for the story, and it kind of just wanted me to find romance again, Not to mention, Godzilla had a great design. I like how Godzilla didn't just look like skinny or really big and beefy. He's kind of chunky, kind of old school Godzilla feeling. His cutesy puffy face kind of makes sense. Usually a lot of dangerous things like certain dinosaurs and stuff, you think, oh, look how cute you are, and then they eat your face. I'm okay with that with Godzilla. But I know this is all Japanese shows and live action shows and movies, and we'll talk about more than just Godzilla. But because I recently seen -1, I instantly just fell in love with the movie. And I've seen it twice back to back. And I want to take a break because I kind of wanted to not overdo it. So when I see minus color, I kind of just relive that again. And so I'm holding off watching -1 over and over again, despite watching it back to back nights in a row for the colored version. But it's, Japanese live action movies, there's so many good series. And a lot of them, how do I say this without making it sound like, that it's just me using Netflix only. So obviously let's talk about the ones we know. Things like Kamen Rider, things like Super Sentai. I've seen all of them. I love all of them. And, it's one of those things where those were my first introduction to Japanese live action. Like anime, I was introduced pretty much right away. I loved it. I thought it was amazing. But live action didn't hit until Power Rangers dropped here, which was still kind of, early for me in my age. But it was like, I thought Power Rangers was here. It wasn't actually until 2000, I think it was 2000 or 2000. Yeah, I think it was actually 2000 itself, just flat 2000, that I found out it was Super Sentai. And I also loved the Kamen Rider series that was here. Big Bad Beetleborgs, Beetleborgs, VR Troopers. And as I watched all of those, I went back and I watched Superhuman Samurai. What is that called? I think that's what it's called, right? Hold on. Superhuman Cyber Squad. Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad is what it was called. And I knew there was a little part beyond Superhuman Samurai. And I remember watching that. And then I was like, oh, okay, I'll go watch, after watching it and watching all these other, I was like, man, what is this? So then I found out it was Gridman. And I was like, oh, I love Gridman now. And it was just the thing I think I loved about all this so much was that my introduction came pretty early. But I stayed away from dramas, like Japanese dramas. And I'll get to those in a minute. It was... Man, I want to say this correctly. It was when I started watching Gridman, Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, all these things, that I was starting to fall in love with the live action part of it. I loved the American Power Rangers as it continued. I loved the Japanese equivalent. And it was one of those things that as I kept progressing and watching more of these shows, every year would go by and I didn't add anything to it. It wasn't until 2007 or was it 2007? I was over at my friend's place and me and her watched Boys Over Flowers. I think we actually watched the Korean version, not the Japanese version. And that was my introduction to K-drama. And as I watch, and we'll talk about K-drama more then, but for now, I started to watch a ton of K-drama. And I loved it. And I started loving Korean culture. I still watch a lot of Korean shows to this day. But I, for a while, for 2 to 3 years, did not give Japanese dramas a chance. I would occasionally watch good Japanese movies, but also Train to Busan. There's a lot of Korean movies and shows that kind of took over the rave in that area. And so while I still watch the Japanese shows of, Gridman, Super Sentai. You know, I can keep listening over and over again. I did not diverge from that. And then one show in 2009, I saw a Japanese show that I love to this day, and I've rewatched every episode over and over again. And I've seen the series probably six, seven times, to be honest. I love it. It is a show that for some reason I connected to all the characters. I loved it. Midnight Diner. Now, all the episodes are on Netflix now. Again, shouldn't keep making up Netflix. It just is. But I started watching Midnight Diner in 2009. And then in 2014, it disappeared. Netflix picked it up, I believe, in 2016. And then they had a couple more series. I think they called it something different for the Tokyo Midnight Diner Tokyo Stories is what the Netflix other seasons were at. And I loved this show. I loved it so much, guys. And that was the first big Japanese live action show that wasn't it wasn't a Sentai series, it wasn't a Sentai styled series that I fell in love with. And it was so important, I think, to my opening up the doors to giving other Japanese shows a chance, because there are so many. Obviously, I've seen a bunch on Netflix. I've seen a bunch on other sites. But Midnight Diner is the one thing that started it all. And for me, it really was that jump from watching Korean dramas, K-dramas, from Korean movies and all that, to watching Midnight Diner, that it just kind of changed. The Master, Master was such an interesting character. All the different range of customers. There was salarymen, there was Yakuza, there was, people looking for their lost love. There was just so many good stories, and the food looked so good. And it was just such a good setting, because it's just a nameless 12-seat diner in Shinjuku, Tokyo, that was open from midnight to 7 a.m. Midnight to 7 a.m. And it was Shinjuku, Tokyo. Okay, yeah. The Shinjuku district of Tokyo. It was just about a mysterious chef who would give advice and would give story, help, and stories would blossom from these different people. Characters would come in. The master would break the fourth wall, and this was before, fourth wall breaking became cool. It was just kind of his thing occasionally. It was advice, there were stories, and there was moments in my life where I rewatched the show because there was moments in my life where I fucked up, where I made mistakes, where I felt pity for myself about doing stupid shit. And not anything bad, but I mean getting fired, getting broken up with, failing a job, failing somebody, And Midnight Diner, and the reason I've seen it so many times, it's my go-to. The moment something goes wrong, if I'm having a bad day, if something horrible happens, I go to Midnight Diner. And it's weird to say it, but yeah, that is my show. That is, if anyone asks me what got you in love with anime, I loved watching Dragon Ball. I did. The series that got me into anime was Mobile Suit Gundam. And actually, to be honest, I saw the very first Gundam series I believe, was... Hold on. I want to make sure I get this right. I believe it was G Gundam. I know, I may be wrong about that. Hold on. G Gundam was 1994. No, what was it? No, I think it was G Gundam. Because I watched G Gundam before I watched Gundam Ring. Yeah. So G Gundam is what got me into it. Gundam Ring, those two back to back, instant love. Then I went back to watch Mobile Suit Gundam, And then I watched Char's Counterattack and, F91, Gundam, Zeta Gundam, Gundam ZZ. And I wasn't really big into Seed, but Double O, the more we talk about other Gundam series, 8th MS Team was one, War in the Pocket, Stardust Memory, Thunderbolt. The more and more series I talk about with Gundam, Gundam was the one that laid the first nail into me falling in love with anime, and boom, it was Gundam. Pokemon, Digimon, Dragon Ball Z, all the other series, Metabots. I can list a ton of different series that helped nail that anime thing down. And when we get to anime, we'll talk about it. I believe Gundam, the first one was G Gundam. But, because I just remember us consuming so much anime. So much of it. Anyways, honestly, I have a whole list of all the anime I watch, and it's insane how much. And I don't want this to go on for 20 minutes, but we're already probably at the 60-minute mark, and we have other stuff to talk about. But Midnight Diner was the thing that made me fall in love with live-action Japanese TV. And since then, I've seen a lot of live-action anime movies. I've seen a lot of live-action series, a lot of romance ones, a lot of Netflix ones, a lot of ones just, different ones out there. A lot of Japanese documentaries about singers. I love Kingdom Hearts, and while I've never done any content on it around here, I know there's whole documentaries on, the making of Kingdom Hearts, and, about, Hikaru Utada, and just, there's so many different Japanese live action shows, movies, documentaries, and stuff that I've seen. But Midnight Diner, if you have not seen it, go check it out. There's a lot. There's, I think, 5 seasons with 50-some episodes, I believe. And let me make sure of that. Is there 50? Yeah, okay, yeah. There's 5 seasons with, 50 episodes. Okay. I wish there was more. I really do. And at the end of the day, Midnight Diner it changed the landscape for Korean shows. Because, there's a lot of good Japanese live action shows now. There's always been so many good ones. At the end of the day, I can go on this topic more. I could go over a series that I love. Let me know if you want a part 2 on this, and I can actually formulate that a little bit better. The first one will always be a little bit free-flowing. But if you haven't checked it out, Midnight Diner, such a good series. Go watch Master and his friends in his little nameless 12-seat diner. Great show, guys. It really is. Like I said, anytime anything's going wrong in life, anytime anything is just not right, I go watch that. And it helps me reflect on myself, reflect on things, and God, I love it. I know this was a little bit ranty. Hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully we go and do a part 2 and talk more in detail about stuff. But let's talk about former tag vlog goals, guys. So, first off, lose weight. I am working out. I am trying to lose weight. But at the end of the day, it comes down to me keeping myself accountable. On bad days, I kind of not work out, and I know that's a bad thing. On days where I'm disappointed, like plans fell through with a certain somebody I really was excited about hanging out with, and it fell through because, But, bounce back, got to get back to working out. And, at the end of the day, I know there will be more time for us to hang out, so I'm not too worried. Find a job. I am looking. I apply to jobs every single day. I keep hitting the desk, which is probably causing the mic to shake, causing that sound to go off. I'm sorry. It's tough because every day I wake up to a ton of no's or a ton of, let's get you in for an interview. And then usually, obviously, I don't have a job yet, so it hurts. Get a video sponsor. That would mean that this channel has reached a certain milestone. But we are on the road to 500, guys, so let's keep it up. Smock UK, record a Yu-Gi-Oh! Digimon event. Once I get a job, that will be coming. Ursa, collab with someone who has 5K plus subs. Video on each channel. We need to make sure we continue growing. And at 500 subs, I will reach out to someone who's 5K plus. Hopefully one of the people I know goes up to that level and, we can just do a video with them. But yeah, that's going to be a tough one, but that's a long-term one. That means a milestone that we reached, that someone with 5K likes us here in this community, but me as a content creator enough to make a video together on both channels. Get to 500 subs. We're at 365 still. I want to still thank everyone who stuck around despite us quitting Yu-Gi-Oh! Still down 2, but you know what? Gotta stay positive. Gotta keep moving forward. And I promise you more changes will be coming, guys. Now, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for listening to this rant. And let me know if you have a favorite Japanese live-action show or movie or both. Let me know down in the comments down below. And thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time. Tag out, y'all. I want to give a special thank you to all my Patreon members. Urza and Scott, you're amazing. If you guys want to check out Patreon and join it to get a shout out at the end, check Patreon down in the link to the description below. And you can, also like Scott did, make me re-record this.